Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's had a good new year. And it's happened. I'm officially 41. Oh, just no. Anyway, today we're going to continue with people I encountered. Um, Today's one is up there as the worst piece of human excrement I've ever encountered. Like, I, the lowest of the low. Unbelievable. It's going to be some nasty things that this person's done. So I'll warn you now. It might not make for pleasant viewing for some. So this guy, when I first encountered him, he wasn't homeless. However, he used to beg on the streets, pretend he was homeless to feed an addiction. He was in his early 50s, quite a portly gentleman, is a polite way of putting it. Um, just loud, obnoxious, complete bully. He had a partner who was, I'd imagine, in her mid to late 20s, that he had a few kids with, and you could tell that clearly he knocked her around. Like, it was evident, it really was. Now, what led to him ending up on the streets, and this isn't hearsay, I know this for fact, is when he was off his head, they had a newborn, and he dropped the newborn and hurt it quite badly. And their previous children had been taken into care because of the circumstances that they were living in, and let's just put it this way, he was heavy handed. Bully, an absolute bully, just worst of the worst. To hurt your own children is low. So when that happened with the newborn, finally his partner left him, and basically the council property that they had, he ended up losing it, and it put him onto the streets. Now, he used to basically be a runner for some county lines drug dealers to, feed his habit. So basically, he would deliver the drugs to them. And I had a lot of encounters with him. Like anyone who's from Canterbury will know exactly who I'm talking about. Large, portly chap, about 5'9", early 50s, grey hair, shaved, so it was about no more than half an inch long. Normally with a bicycle, wearing slippers, and just used to howl and shout in the street. Just vile. If you're from Canterbury, you'll know exactly who I'm talking about. So, I'm aware of who he was. No time for the bloke whatsoever. Didn't want to know him. And I've mentioned this in previous videos about this guy. But I'll give you some lots more in depth. My first encounter was there was people begging by my tent, people that weren't homeless. And as I've mentioned before, I didn't like people begging near me, because when a complaint would be put into the police or the council that the homeless people are hassling people for money, they're going to come to me because I'm the one that's actually homeless that's in that vicinity. So it will ultimately lead to me getting banned from the high street. I won't have my shelter. Yeah, so that was my issue. It wasn't because I thought they were going to be taking money from me. I never asked anyone for anything other than a job or an ambulance. Okay, people gave me things that was on them, and I was very grateful for it. But I never asked. But anyway, they were doing it, and I'd warned them. I said, "Don't do this around me. Go up the road and do it." Okay, I don't want you doing it around me. If you keep doing it around me, the next person, I'm going to tell them that you live in Craddock House. You're not homeless. Ignored me, kept doing it. So I said, he's not homeless. Lives in Craddock House. He's just trying to get money to score. And anyway, this guy, the one this video's about, he was there obviously because he's waiting for them to get their money up so he can give them the drugs. Yeah. And he started shouting and screaming, kicking off, and just blanked it, just walked away. Next day, he's come back and he's like, "Who the f do you think you are?" All of this, right? And it's like high street full of people watching this, and I made it very clear for him to get away from me, and he wouldn't take the hint. And I told him how much of a degenerate piece of scum I thought he was. And classic line you get from these low lives: "Who do you think you're talking to?" And I'm thinking to myself, shit ain't got labels, mate. But I just shrugged it off, so just leave me alone. And he got right in my face. He's going, you get one of these, and his elbow touched my face. Now I'm backed into a corner, and as I always say, if I can walk away, I will walk away. If I'm backed into a corner and I have to defend myself, I will defend myself. Okay, so he hasn't hit me, but he's made the threat to, and he has actually touched me, and so I'm backed into a corner. So I neutralised the threat, so to speak. I didn't go overboard, just got him away from me. And then he's come back, and it's gone on to continue. And I don't want to be seen fighting in the street. I really don't. I just want this bloke away from me. So I've managed to pin him up against. There was a pillar where my tent was. I managed to pin him up against that, and he's not getting the hit. And I just thought to myself, if I just let him hit me a few times so people see it, then if I, excuse the term, weigh him in, it's justified. So just that happened, and at the point where I was going to react, there was a food festival going on next to me, next to where I was, and they had security, and the security guard came over, and this security guard is one of the biggest human beings I have ever seen. Yeah, he was enormous, right? And he's pushed me out of the way, and he's grabbed this bloke, and he's told him exactly where to go. And obviously he took the hint and he went. And the security guard said to me, "Look, I saw everything that went on. That's not on. He should have left you alone." And he was really supportive about it. Really lovely guy. So one of the biggest human beings I've ever seen. So I thought, that would be an end of it. I'd Not that it matters, but I'd got the upper hand on him. I thought, he would have got the hint that don't try it with me. So next day he's come back, but he's with a load of people. So he's shouting his mouth off. There's high street full of people can see this going on. Him just making a complete tit of himself, yeah. And this is how it went on. When he was with groups of people, threaten me, shout and swear at me. And as I've mentioned to you before, when these things happened, I would let the police know. For the simple fact, I'm trying to do the right thing, yeah. You can call me a grass, you can call me whatever, right? But I'm trying to do the right thing, what I'm supposed to do in these situations, yeah, because I don't want to be seen fighting in the street, giving homeless people a bad name, and I don't want that sort of reputation for myself. So as usual, the police did nothing. I kept a record of it, times and days. Okay, I had him threaten me with a chain, like a big bike lock chain, 3 times. Yeah, this went on for over 2 weeks. This did daily, yeah. And threatened to stab me, and threatened to set fire to my tent in my sleep. That has already happened to me. Someone had set fire to my tent, and it just went on and on and on. Okay, and when I'd be at college, sometimes I'd come back and I could see that someone had clearly been through my tent. And there was one day that I was walking down the high street back to my tent, and I could see him sat where my tent was, begging. And like I've just lost it at this point, because he's pretending to be me. One nice clean area that I've got, where people might have said, "Have you seen that guy in the Debenhams doorway? Doesn't hassle anyone, just sits there reading books." I've had enough. Really, just had enough of it now. So the police have just done nothing. And I've gone up to him and I've gone to tell him where to go. And there was a van up the road that made coffees, and he had a cup of scalding hot water, and he threw it at me. It burnt me pretty badly. And I reacted, and I couldn't lie to you, I think anyone would. And People pulled me off him. See that I was burnt. He scurried away to his point. I went and found the police. Showed them my burns. Told them what happened to me. Told them who had done it. Weren't interested. Their exact words to me were, "We're monitoring the delivery riders on their motorbikes coming through the high street. They shouldn't be doing it. Because that's more important." And I said to them, "What am I supposed to do? This has been going on for 2 weeks. He's physically assaulted me twice now. He's been threatening me for 2 weeks. Okay, am I to take the law into my own hands because you won't do anything?" But I know you need to report it. I am reporting it. You're not doing anything. And this is what gets me. I was pushed to the point where I could have done that man some serious damage. And I would have been the one held to account for that. After 2 weeks of keeping a record of all of this, and for nothing to happen. This guy, like I say, is the worst piece of human excrement I've ever encountered. When he'd be sat there begging, he would be pretending to be crying. He'd be sat there going like this, and then see him peer up to see if anyone could see him doing it, try and get sympathy out of people. And then, like, I heard him say once, "Oh, my wife died. The council took my home." Just utter scum, utter scum. I mean, this man's lost his home because he hurt his own kids. So it gets me angry just thinking about it now, because no, this guy just got away with it. I'll say that was the worst piece of human excrement I ever encountered. That really is. I'll say if you're from Canterbury, you'll know exactly who I mean. Anyway, I haven't got to worry about him anymore because tomorrow I'll be one step closer to where I want to be in life. He'll still be a piece of shit. Isn't that right, Bruce? Yeah, mate. My vape! Anyway, big love. We'll speak soon.